and welcome back to the first ever dWo podcast.
The 2vement podcast.
Agree to disagree. Today we have a very special guest. We have the one, the only, the innovator, the streaminator, Lil C. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I love that intro, man. That was wonderful.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on the show. How has your day been?
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to this podcast. Let's get to the meat and potatoes and have some fun.
Hey, right to well, in that case, let's just hop right in. When was the exact moment in your life that you became a fan of wrestling?
I used to be really big into action figures. It started off with Star Wars, and what ended up happening was I was spoiled as a kid, and my parents used to buy me a lot of toys, and I remember getting the old Hasbro wrestling figures, the old WWF figures where they had the arm movement or leg movement, and I just remember looking at them in the boxes and just saying, wow, these are like larger than life characters. They're so creative. I love them. And then I started, Hulk Hogan was around, but the action figures and playing with the action figures actually got me into wrestling. So
that's it. That's like a case where the egg came before the chicken. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite action figure to play with?
My favorite one was Jake the Snake.
And that was
choice.
You said it's a good choice, yeah. Was that before or after you knew who his personality actually was?
I didn't know anything. I just saw on the box, they just showed him with the snake around him with Damien, and I just looked at it and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I like the color green. It's one of my favorite colors. So I identified with it, and then I just started messing around and had him beat up Hogan a lot. So
Nice. Were there any wrestlers over time that you personally identify with, whether it's their gimmick or real life personality?
Well, now I can identify with a lot. My favorite is Kevin Owens because I like to trash talk so much when it comes to competing. I love trash talking. There's nothing like it. There's so much enjoyment beating someone and trash talking them at the same time.
Oh.
Nice. Which games or sports do you tend to trash talk the most?
Oh, if I'm shooting pool, I used to play lacrosse, so I used to do it to defenders if they were too slow or they kept getting penalties on me or whatever it may be. I also played basketball. We would play football. I wasn't so great at football, but then also baseball. So it was a wide variety of sports. But I would always love to trash talk. It's always fun to do so.
I can't handle trash talking during competitions.
Yeah, nothing like your mama. Nothing like your mama. Not at all. But it was just a lot of fun to mess with someone and to see someone get angrier in front of you. So
basically, Davey's the kind of guy that you love trash talking to because his game just goes south.
He would enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
If only you could have live one-on-one feuds and trash talk at the same time.
That would be I would throw my phone. That would be the worst.
5 across.
Oh, see, there we go. I gotta mark that down now. Thanks, Vengeful.
Edit.
So, were action figures the only thing you collected? Is there anything else you collected growing up in reference to wrestling?
Well, I used to collect baseball and basketball cards a lot. I used to have a huge collection. I used to go to the store and buy packs. I did eventually, when I was older, I did get wrestling cards. And I remember when they had memorabilia parts where you can get like a piece of the ring or an autograph. Yeah, so I have gotten wrestling cards before. But I was huge into baseball and basketball cards, all different types.
Okay, what about some people collect pay-per-views or documentaries of wrestlers? No DVDs, anything like that?
I used to have VHSs. I used to have this kid in high school. His name was Sam Roberts, and He used to be a huge wrestling fan, ECW, WCW, WWF. He used to have his own little store where it wasn't legal, of course, but he used to sell all different pay-per-views. And once I heard about that, I had to get every single Royal Rumble because that's my favorite pay-per-view. So I had to get every Royal Rumble and get a whole bunch of ECW. I even got some Japan from him. I don't have those VHSs anymore, but now I have a Blu-ray collection of various genres.
Not just WWE, like different promotions and stuff?
Well, I have WWE, but then I have a lot of horror. I have international movies, harder to get movies,
Got it.
that type.
Got it. Okay. So with Royal Rumble being your favorite pay-per-view, is there anyone or any Royal Rumble moment in particular that always stands out to you as being like so cool?
Shawn Michaels winning from the first spot always, you know, when it comes down to it, I remember even the attire that he was wearing that night. It just, you know, especially since he was one of my favorites growing up. So that was always a fun moment. I mean, there's so many good Royal Rumble moments, but that one always sticks out in my head.
You know, I've never seen that. There's like so many iconic wrestling moments in history that people keep referencing, and I'm like completely lost. I mean, I may have heard of it, but I have not seen it in its entirety. So I guess I have to go check that now.
Without a doubt.
Just for the low cost of $9.99.
Isn't that like, yeah, $9.99. Yeah. Well, actually, sidebar, they sent me an email the other day saying that I could get the network for 99 cents for 3 months. And I did not see it because it was in my spam folder. I was so upset.
So that's a pretty good deal, especially through WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, Mark, with the Royal Rumble being your favorite, if you want to come see it live next year, it'll be here in Phoenix where I live. So
oh boy,
you could always hang out, go watch the Rumble.
That'd be cool.
Invitation's open.
Yeah. I've met Brian from the game, but I'm open-minded to meeting more people. There's so many cool people from this game. This is what I really like. I used to be a huge whale in Marvel Puzzle Quest. I was really big into that, and we had the whole community online, and we had coordination. But this community is not only more exciting, but I have met more people. So actually, I've met more people since I went to Scopely, so I forgot about that. I hung out with Ed Doggy Dog and Bo Zizzy, and yeah, they were cool guys. So,
oh,
that's pretty awesome.
Those are also players,
they're also players in the game.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was only you that they had extended the invitation to. I guess it was like some of the more popular players.
Big spenders. They
okay.
They sent, I don't know who, like how many were invited, because this was done through in-game chat because they did not have emails or anything, but they did invite these players to come and give feedback to show their appreciation for their spending and so forth, and it was a great experience.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's pretty awesome. Well, why don't we talk a little bit more about that trip? You know, tell us more.
Well, they treated us like kings. They took, I mean, I know everyone bashes Scopely, but when you see the other side of Scopely, you really see professional edge. That's now, for the record, I have to get it out there because right now I'm talking good about Scopely, and everyone's probably like, what's the catch? You know, what's the deal? Their customer service is outsourced. So their terrible service that's there is not internal. Their team is extremely talented. They're all with it. They actually play the game. They have accounts. They play in top factions. They play feuds with us, against us. They play the game. They're in our chats too. I mean, you know, they have to keep their identities secret because, you know, they're not supposed to do that. But this is what they're all about, the game. They're really focused on trying to make it better. There's a lot of fixes coming, like the 0-0 glitch. What actually happened was when, you know, because we all sat down and we spoke together, and discuss the game in a long session. And they the 0-0 glitch was actually made prominent by fixing ghosting, or really helping that issue cause the other big problem, the 0-0 glitch. But there are a lot of fixes. So their team is extremely talented. They have people that I'm sure that they pay them very well, and they deserve it. There's a lot of great things on the way in this game, a lot. And the overall tour, I mean, to get into Scopely, there's a big metal door, and you either use a key card to scan it, or you put your finger in the slot, and it scans you by your fingers. So it's like really high tech. It was pretty cool to see. And they let you bring a dog if you have a dog and you want to work and you work there, you can actually do that as well.
Yeah, I will say, I definitely got the feeling just from some of the streams that they've done. They definitely have thoughtful, talented people, especially Jeff. I hope you got to meet Jeff. He seems amazing.
Oh, Jeff is awesome. Jeff is
his
amazing.
Characters, since he came on to be the character designer, they're incredible. There's so much thought that goes into them. But on the customer service side, I knew it was outsourced the whole time, but you're still responsible for it, so I don't really give them a pass on that.
Fair point.
Yeah, definitely. They need to work on that for sure. They've gotten plenty of feedback. I know poor Eric, the guy has to deal with the barrage of endless people that are angry at the game, and
it's not even his job.
He's such an awesome guy. He does his job like way beyond what's required for him to do, and he's always on. He's always active on Twitter. He's always doing his thing. He eats, lives, and breathes this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's responding to stuff at odd hours of the weekend and night, and he's never really off.
Nope.
What else did you what else did you guys talk about while you were there?
We spoke about a lot of things, including female wrestlers. We spoke about future implementations into the game. We spoke about the VIP, which I'm sure that you guys have seen my video, and if you haven't, then definitely check out my channel as I go over the whole VIP. But we went over the VIP. We were able to test it. We spoke about what myself, Ed Doggy Dog, and Bozizi, and I forget the other gentleman's name that was with us. They asked us what our top 3 things that we wanted to see in the game. We mentioned a lot of faction feud issues. We went into detail. For example, we were talking about how we need to get rid of the 48-hour faction feuds because they're too long, and we need to get into the 24-hour, or even, this was Punisher's idea, my buddy Punisher, to do, and I think Brian also said this as well. I forget. I have such a terrible memory, so I forget who, but flash feuds, doing like 8-hour feuds, something really quick, just to get the action going. And because the 48-hour feuds are killer. They're just too long, and we wanted to steer the faction feud in the right direction because that's where most of us play.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea, and I love the flash feud idea too, because I mean, just looking at our faction, I think one of the big reasons why we haven't feuded is because none of us can afford to do 48 hours. But if you're talking about an 8-hour feud, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I would be all over that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine the challenge. I mean, I'm in a top faction, so we get the advantage of getting all the bags like crazy, and that equates to tons of health packs, which equates to lots of feuding. And I can only imagine, not being in that situation where it's more challenging for you and it kills the momentum of the whole group.
That might actually change. It could potentially change the ecosystem of feud if, like you say, having a somewhat more even playing field with people having more access or to bags, or less expenditure of health packs. You could possibly see some new contenders in the top 100.
I think it's
Well,
probably more of.
with the sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
With the VIP, one of the things that they're going to be doing is increasing the amount of health restored per health pack. So that might have some effect. Like the perks had a little bit of an effect on the feud that we just did. The health pack increase might help cut down on health packs as well.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, between that and obviously the large number of health packs that we're able to get through Faction HQ, I think that should mitigate quite a bit of it. But also, yeah, just having the shorter feuds, I think, just makes it more suitable to fit into people's lives, if they can't afford to spend that kind of time. So regardless of the resources. So I think that would be great to have some of those. And maybe the rewards can be scaled down too, but at least it would be a change of pace for sure.
Quick question. Did they give any reasoning or logic behind how they scale rewards? Like with the Steel event, 6 to 100 got the same rewards. Like that didn't make any sense to me.
No, they did not cover rewards at all. We did not discuss rewards. The thing that we discussed that was remotely close was trying to offer people a guaranteed 1-star when you do pulls to try to make people happier, so that if they, rather than getting tons of duplicates, you have a chance to get someone that you can actually work on that's useful, guaranteed. That was the closest thing, but nothing with regard to compensation.
Yeah, that would definitely be a big plus. Big plus. It's just something guaranteed.
So would it be like a featured guaranteed 1-star? Would it change every time you pull?
This was actually one of my faction buddies' ideas, and he just brought that up. Like, for example, you do a 30 pull and you're guaranteed a 1-star gold Finn Balor, no matter what. So if you do 5 pulls, you're going to get 4 bonus TPs and then the actual character.
Okay. That's not a bad idea at all. Not at all. Would it be, per your faction mate's suggestion, would it be the 1-star gold of the mega, or just like thrown in character that's just guaranteed?
I think it was just a thrown in character guaranteed, but these are extremely useful characters. It's not going to be like a 1-star Brett technician. It's going to be someone that, like a 1-star AJ.
Got it.
I think that would
Go ahead.
definitely be a lot. That would be something I think that would definitely encourage a lot more people to pull, because I think if your roster's small, especially something like this WrestleMania event or the anniversary ones where they have just a large number of superstars, your roster's small, you have a lot of upside from pulling. At a certain point, there's very little incentive compared to the cost. So just having anything guaranteed, even at low rarity, I think is a fantastic idea.
Definitely.
So, along with your visit to Scopely, you also visited WWE as well, right?
Yes, we went to SmackDown in the Staples Center.
How was that, being backstage and meeting everybody?
It was amazing. It really was. It was unreal. I mean, I'm walking in the back. There's a guy in a suit who's telling us the rules. Don't talk to the superstars. If they come over to you, then let them come over to you. And if they want to meet you, they want to meet you, but just go around. And, once we just stepped out like 10 feet in, I see Sasha Banks there, and I'm just like floored. I'm just like, what? I'm like, is this real? I'm like, first of all, I was surprised by her appearance, because I was like, man, she's like built tough, and I was like caught off guard, and I didn't realize it. And this guy was just so cool. The one that was giving us the walkthrough, he took out all the belts. We got to hold the belts. Now the tag team championship is actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but the tag team championship, SmackDown's tag team championship, is like twice as heavy as AJ's belt.
Wow.
Really? It doesn't look like it'd be.
It doesn't look it, but when you pick it up, it is much heavier.
So these were the actual belts and not replicas?
Yeah, these were the actual belts.
Wow.
It was a prop case. It was a big black prop case, and they had individual compartments, and he took out the belt. So he took out AJ's belt first and everyone, and I was like, oh, got to take a picture. So I asked one of the guys from Scopely, which they're really cool guys. They're all, and girls. They're really close with each other actually, which I liked, because a lot of companies, you don't know how the culture is, but the culture for Scopely is they're very close with each other. So they're actually like buddies. They're like good buddies, you could tell. And they were nice enough, you know, taking the pictures, and you know, I was asking them to take 1 million pictures, and you know, it was fun. And then they took us out where before they come out and they show you the skits, and they have all the writing down, and then you go through the entrance with the big X on it behind the curtain. You come out, and then we were right at the ringside area, and I held the ropes, and I was like, wow, these are really tight. It was crazy. I wanted to go in the ring, but I was like, at the same time, I was like, there were all these people around watching, so I was like, it's probably not a good idea. Plus, I'm not in my home state, so I'm like, this is not a good idea if something goes wrong. So, but I really wanted to go inside.
Oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun. You didn't see like any, how should I say? I don't think backstage personality is the right word. Say like a Vince McMahon or anybody who's not usually on the screen, but you know them from like internet blogs or whatever.
Not that I noticed. I mean, well, I mean, you see him all the time, but I thought it was pretty cool to see Shane, and Shane's a big guy too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we saw you know, it was cool because we got to meet Kalisto, we got to meet Kofi Kingston, and we got to meet Bobby Roode. I was actually I was actually floored when I, like, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a robe walk up near me, and it was Bobby Roode, and I just stared him in the face. I was like, "Hey, Bobby Roode," and he was like, "Hey," and then they showed him his character in the game. The girl Jen was like, "Hey, this is you. I only have you at 3-star silver," and he gave her a look like shaking his head.
You're like, I took you to gold the night I got you.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't pull out my phone fast enough, and I was also trying to save my battery because you know how Champions kills your battery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But so we met the people, but the wrestlers. But what was cooler was seeing them just standing there, like being on the same level of these wrestlers, like sizing them up as like real people, people watching them, seeing, hey, John Cena is like the same height as me. He's just built, you know, he's just gigantic. Seeing Sasha Banks there, seeing Finn Balor just sitting on like I don't even know what he was sitting on, like a bench of some sort. He was just looking cool as anything, just hanging out there. It was just, I didn't realize it because I was like, why are they here? But it was the mixed tag
Oh
match.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Sasha and Balor were there. But
Man, it sounds so afterwards, did y'all like get to go out and eat and hang out with anyone, or just went your separate ways?
well, with the event, what happened was we had a suite. So what was really cool was, I guess because of their partnership with WWE, they have the great hookup. So we got a suite. It's not the best seats. I would have preferred, you know, like floor seats. Every time I go to an event, I like to get floor seats to be up close. But this was more of an intimate experience. You have your own area. You have a bartender. You have food already there. And we just got to chat with all the members of the team. Like, that's when I got my time to talk to Jeff. And Jeff is such a cool guy. Jeff is the character design guy. You know, I got to ask him questions like, is Elias coming into the game, which he is, and he will be a trickster. I got to ask him who his favorite character to make was, and that was Razor Ramon, according to him. And I got to settle the dispute of who is the strongest character in the game, Brock or the Russian, and he admitted the Russian is a stronger character.
Boom.
So
Awesome.
That's pretty amazing. What else did you get to talk to Jeff about?
we just pretty much spoke about different characters, like Mr. Perfect, Macho Man. Like, I was really applauding his talent, and I was asking him which characters he did and there were some characters that were before him. So a guy like Volkov was before Jeff was involved, but a guy like Macho Man was like Jeff's like prized creative genius, as well as Razor Ramon and some others. But I have a feeling that in the future, and this is not confirmed, but I just have a feeling based on what's going on, is that trap gems are going to be becoming more and more popular in this game. And if you have Jinder Mahal, I definitely recommend getting him to 5K.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I actually just pulled him yesterday, so I'm working on that as we speak.
Congrats.
Yeah, I was stoked for it. I think trap gems, I haven't really gotten to play much with them. I just have Trickster Brett, which is not very useful when you only have one trap gem, but now it should be a little bit better. But just the idea that you can kind of change the course of the gameplay based on you breaking them or the opponent breaking them, and then having to guess which one they're gonna, it just adds another level of fun. And I think, but I'd be really curious to ask him, like, how does he go about his process with, like, okay, I got to create Razor Ramon. Like, where does he get the inspiration from? How is he? It seems like every character he makes, they absolutely have two very viable move sets at least. So how does he get the creativity and the inspiration to build something like that? And it's just fascinating to me because his characters are just so much better than what were created before on the whole, and it's not even close.
Yeah, he's a huge wrestling fan, and with him, you could tell he's like almost like genius, like his level of intelligence. But he did tell me that when a character is made, they have to do an insane amount of testing to make sure that the character is not too overpowered where they're going to break the game, but at the same token, they're going to have their advantages and disadvantages. The trend for the future is there's going to be a lot more turn 3 people to try to give the game, more of a rather than a turn 2 choose gem guy. Give it a more of a thinking man's approach. That's like a Razor Ramon guy picking your trap gems, laying it out. So either you match them off for an advantage or your opponent gets stuck, So he's a thinking man's guy, and that's what a lot of characters he's making. I'm hoping that when he makes Elias, he's going to make him fun as well.
With a guitar shot, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would definitely be take the game in a positive direction, as well as any way to neutralize the turn 2 guys, because it's nice to have the new characters coming in as more thinking characters, but in the end, if you're still having to compete against the turn 2 guys in versus and feud all the time, without a real way to combat that, which maybe that's where they're going with perks, with reduce gem damage and that sort of stuff. But
yes, absolutely. They want to test it. Then when they rolled it out, they said that they want to test it at a small scale so as to not destroy the game, quote unquote, so that things are still working and you can tell that there's a difference going on in the game and a better experience, and give you more defensively, like have a defensive trainer, so to speak, or offensive trainer for your whole team. That was the whole concept behind it.
Yeah, I think defensive trainers or defensive perks are definitely something that give the game a lot more ability going forward. I wonder how. I'm assuming Jeff is in charge of doing the 4 and 5 star moves across the board, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So I wonder how he's going to go about that. Like, is he going to take somebody like UF Seth and give him some kind of defensive move because he doesn't really need another offensive move, or is he going to take somebody that has, like, how do you salvage somebody like Technician Jericho and make them viable? It'll be interesting to see.
I think some characters are going to be surprises. Like, I think there are going to be some characters that were good but not at the god level, but they're going to come out with a third move that you're going to be able to put in their move set, and they're going to make them stellar. I mean, you have Seth. You really can't get better than what he already has. You really can't get better than him. Brock, next big thing, the Russian. It's really hard to get better than that. But let's say you have a guy like Bray Wyatt, who is a top tier guy, probably the best character for free to play players, and his stunner is it's not a great move, but what if they come out with another black move that's going to be amazing? Who knows? You never know. They're not going to do anything with a guy like Mark Henry. That's like, that's it.
Lost cause.
He's done, but it should be fun to see. I'm happy. I'm grateful that there's the WWE Champions Guide out there that data mines and gives us all these move sets and information before we invest our tokens and coins.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we had Painful Mercy on the podcast a while ago. Definitely worth checking that one out if you haven't done so. But it was great talking to him about the guide. I'm thinking, like, even characters like Ultimate Warrior, who, if you run him red to purple, he's pretty devastating. But
yeah,
imagine if you could run him, red to yellow, where the second yellow move at 4 stars is like a destroy crossbreak gem move.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that could turn him from like a really good powerhouse to incredible. It'll just be really interesting. I can just see myself spending hours going through the guide and seeing, oh crap, this guy that I let rot at 2-star silver is now going to be like a really top tier, technician. I better level him up or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we're all going to be doing our research definitely when it comes out. I'm just a little concerned of how they're gonna roll it out. I think they have to be very careful when they introduce 4 stars, because you can lose a large player base if it's done the wrong way.
Yeah, what are your thoughts behind that? What would be the right way and what would be the wrong way?
Well, I think that with 4 stars, first, they're going to have to make it more affordable. They can't make it crazy like you need. It's going to be tough. I mean, if you're going to say for people, you need 10 4-star tokens to get this guy to 4 star after all these people have spent so much. I mean, you're going to have your whales and, your whale, your guy or girl that spends so much money in this game. Once those 1250 bags come out, every opportunity they're going to be buying them up, upgrading, and then now all of a sudden you're going to have teams where they're just a whole nother tier higher than you. And I can understand it being very frustrating to free-to-play characters, but free-to-play players come and go. It's all about the paying customers for them. They want the free-to-play players to enjoy it too, but we can understand that every big addition that they make in the game is money in their pocket, which they need because they have so many employees and it is a business. But I'm just worried about how it's going to be implemented, where if it's going to really throw the scales off the balance.
Yeah, I think I've always thought that it would either make or break the game. Like, I'm far from a free-to-play player, but I'm not really a whale in my opinion. I guess relatively speaking, I'm kind of like a middle fish. But but I look at that and I go, okay, so the rumor was that the 4-star bags, the yet to be released ones that have the 4-star gold tokens, right, would be like $24.99 cash, so basically twice the price of the 1250s. All right, maybe that's valuable if they up like the 4-star silver tokens in there and 3-star golds and whatnot, and you don't have the crappy 2-star gold tokens in there, which I hate. But look at the enhanced packs. All of a sudden, once upon a time, like a Showboat enhanced pack, which gave you the 1 shear, which was hard to get, relatively speaking. Now it's so much easier to get that token. And what are they going to do? Make a pack that's $200 or $150 for like a 4-star gold token? I don't know. Or does everything in the game economy shift down so that now the enhanced pack is for a 4-star gold token, and basically everything that's now 3 stars, or everything that's now 2 stars becomes the new 3 stars, and everything that's now 3 stars becomes the new 4 stars. I don't know. But either way, it's got to be, like, I get it that it doesn't have to be such that a free-to-play player is going to be able to jump right in and make a 4-star character. But I would hope that the medium paying players still have a chance to move their whole roster up, because otherwise, like I said, I think it could break the game.
Yeah, definitely. I have confidence and I have faith in them. I'm just concerned because it's such a critical part of the game. I mean, can you imagine you being in feuds and you not having chances against people because their rosters are so overpowered? I mean, I don't know. There's so many. Also, with the restrictions, you have to think with the feuds. Let's say you have, I don't know, an Attitude Era feud, and you only have one Attitude Era guy, and you weren't able to get him to 4-star, and you're facing off against Execution or Grim Creepers, and you have a guy that has 3 Attitude guys. 2 of them are 3-star gold. One is a 4-star, and you're just like beat. You don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, I think it's also, I mean, that happened anyway when Feud first came out, and there were certain factions that had a lot more 3-star characters. Remember that was the thing, like, oh, I got my first 3-star bronze,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, there's some characters that you can have at 2-star gold that can still take out a 3-star bronze, but the way the scaling on the damage and health is in this game, like, we see such a scale difference between 3-star silver and 3-star gold. Imagine 3-star gold versus 4-star bronze when the move damage goes up significantly and the health and all that stuff. If they don't make it such that in the game economy, it's actually conceivable to take your 3-star gold to 4-star bronze, at least a few of them, I could just see it being more of a problem than in the beginning when, people were still trying to get their first 3-star characters, because it's just going to be that much more expensive to get the 4-star characters. It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Has the fact that they have hidden their odds, has it affected your financial investment in the game, or are you just still in it for the fun of it?
It's tough, having an addictive personality, being addicted to gambling in the past. This game really brings it back, and there are times where I lose control, and the emotion and the heat of the moment just gets to you, and you just keep going and going and going. I really wish they would do something about the odds, for sure. But no, it hasn't stopped me. I think we're all addicted to this game in some sense. Others have more disposable income than others, or some decide not to spend, or whatever the case may be. I know there's a lot of people in here that have families, and I commend I don't know how the guys do it that hide all this from their wives. I don't know. I really don't know how they do that. I don't know at all, but I would think that, they're very smart. Otherwise, there would be all divorce lawyers in the line chats and the Discord chats.
Somebody said in the podcast chat, deny, deny, deny.
I think I was hacked again and again.
Oh, I forgot the question. I had a question and that joke made me forget it. Okay.
Well, when you're in those moments of just pulling because you're going after a character, like, I know we've talked about this on the show before in terms of like the emotions that it brings up and the challenges. It's just part of the game, and I think it'd be interesting as somebody that has spent more heavily on the game than a lot of players in this game, to get your perspective on because somebody might look at your roster and say, oh, you got all these guys, but the truth is, when you're in that moment trying to go after the one guy, do you even think about the rest of your roster? How does that? Just want to see if there's any similarities that people can find, as somebody like you versus their roster, and the same challenges in going after a guy for pulls.
It started when I first went after my first mega, Jericho, the List, who I thought was a god because I had no information about the game, to my last mega that I pulled. Well, I'm going to consider him a mega because of the amount that I had to spend to get him, but finally getting the Russian Nikolai Volkov 2-star silver, which was like pulling a mega. in the WrestleMania packs. When you're in the hunt, you're just super focused on getting that character because of, I mean, let's face it, I have a roster. I really don't need to spend that much in the game. You know, I have a great faction who gives plenty of heals. They have great support. They're always fun to chat with. And I have plenty of health packs, so I have no need to buy domination packs. But when it comes down to my characters, it's mostly, you know, you want to compete with everyone else with the restrictions and feuds, or like you're saying to yourself, you know, I'm weak on legends or I'm weak on technicians. So there's always a thought in your head where I have to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And when the megas come out, they give you an opportunity. Or if you're emotionally attached to a character, like if, you know, when your childhood, Macho Man was really big to you, and then Macho Man comes out as a mega, you just, you know, logic goes out the window and you just go right after that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities that all of us go through when going after characters. Actually, it's funny that you said that your first mega that you went after was Jericho the List. We we have a guy named Jerichoholic in our faction, and he was famous for having the first List Jericho in our faction, and he actually took him to gold, and then regretted it later because he sucks. But but yeah, no, he's just saying, I swear Little C's talking to me, Macho and Jericho. Those are his two big pulls. But yeah, no, it's really interesting. There's just so much feeling of, it's funny to hear you say that, you know, maybe you feel like you're lacking in certain areas, you know, requirements and that sort of thing. I think it's that feeling of lacking that has made a lot of us feel like, you know, we need to get better, or we're not good enough, and we have to make the pulls. And then I think it's that feeling of, you know, not being good enough that really gives you that disgusting feeling after you don't get the pull, and then you go for it again and again, and just is a downward spiral. And even once you get it, it's like, geez, I just spent way too much to get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to go back to maybe some of the conversations you had with the team about future features or things that are coming down the road, whatever you're able to share with us, of course. What are some of the things you're looking forward to the most?
Well, as you guys know, female wrestlers are coming out in the game. I met the woman who does the surveys whenever you get the lay down the law surveys, and they did that for a reason. We were discussing actually with the female wrestlers how it would be implemented. Would we be against, or would we be for them facing off against male wrestlers? What our thoughts would be regarding that. And then most of us were cool with it. Most of us said, you know, that'd be fine. You know, Ronda Rousey can probably beat most of the wrestlers anyway in real life. So we're like, whatever, you know, if she's going to fight against, I don't know, Kane or whoever in the game, then that's fine. We were talking about that. They have to, they might make a change with the female wrestlers, whereas for legal reasons, some of the moves might look like domestic violence, like a choke slam to a female character might look like domestic violence, so it might be changed into a power bomb per se. Just the animation.
Wait, so a power bomb is less domestic violence looking than a choke slam?
Yeah, apparently. Well, they're just giving examples, but you know, some moves might have different animations, but they're really excited about it, and it should be, because the female characters are going to be they're amazing in our some pay-per-view matches. The female matches are better than a lot of the men matches, and they're taking it over by storm, and they have great wrestlers, and they should be a part of this game. And a lot of us are excited about it, and yeah, they have to cover themselves, and they have to get everything that they do has to be approved by WWE as well. They have meetings with them, so they have to make sure that they want their product to be represented the right way. So one way is to stay away from that looking like domestic violence. But yeah, I agree. Powerbomb is still pretty deep, serious.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how else they would do it, because I mean, unless you made a completely parallel game with a different app, I don't know how in the current context, unless you do it like by restriction that any male character has to go up against another male character and female versus female. It's like a opponent restriction.
Yeah, I guess they could do like required, like they could do tours with. I don't know. I think they're gonna just implement it. My gut is telling me they're gonna implement it the same way. I mean, we have zombies in the game, so you know you have zombie Kevin Owens facing UF Seth or whoever it may be. So it doesn't really matter. So I think they're just gonna. It's and when it comes down to it, it's just a game, you know. So you know, plus they have a lot more opportunity. We're actually talking about how many female superstars should be introduced when they first come out. And you know, my first thought, and also my buddy Bozizi, we were in the range of 8 to 10, that like 8 to 10 female wrestlers should be introduced. That way there's a large pool to start with where everyone could work on their wrestlers, and they give us a free wrestler star, like maybe a free Sasha Banks to start off.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. And obviously, you showed us a little bit about the VIP, which I really hope comes out soon. I'm looking forward to that. Are there any other features that? Well, obviously, we talked about 4 stars and Hell Mode. Is that anywhere on the horizon as far as you?
Oh yeah, it's very soon. It's very. I know. It's been saying in the game since it came out, coming soon, but I don't have an exact date. But it is coming very soon. 4 stars and Hell Mode is very soon.
Do you know if they're going to release 4 stars and 5 stars together, or is it just going to be 4 stars and then 5 stars moves and whatnot will come, you know, like a year from now or something?
I think it's just going to be 4 stars.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think we're kind of at a stage where we need a major shakeup like that to keep things interesting. I actually found that this the Kings of WrestleMania tour, where it's a limited time tour, but we have these stages. It was kind of like how they used to do the limited time tours in the past.
Yeah.
And just like having all these different stages just makes it a lot more interesting. And it just got me thinking, like, man, can you imagine just being able to go through the road again? Like, how cool would that be? It's been so long since we had that satisfaction. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and you're going to have the opportunity to go through Hell Mode in the latest current tours, and that's going to be fun too. I don't know. It's probably going to be extremely challenging. It's probably going to be extremely challenging. I know a lot of people that are complaining about Hell Mode probably won't even be able to finish Hell Mode. So you know, the same people that complain about, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin not being a free character, you know, when he first came out, and you know, I don't know. People love to complain in this game, but I guess you know, that's what happens when it comes to these types of games. Another thing that there is a mode coming out. I cannot say anything about the mode, but it is a new mode coming out in the game. When we were there, it was in its alpha stage. It was in the very beginning, and it is going to be amazing. I am really looking forward to it. It's going to blow things off. The roof is going to be just destroyed. It's going to be, I can't wait for it. It's probably going to, I don't know when it's going to come out, but they are working on it. And I wish I could, you don't know how bad I want to just spit it out. I just want to spit it out, but I can't do it.
Oh man.
It's awesome. Looking forward to that too.
While you were there, was there anything that you pitched to them that they didn't even think of and like, oh, that'd be cool to implement?
Yeah, absolutely. I had the idea because it's my favorite pay-per-view of there being a Royal Rumble mode.
Oh, that would be dope.
And I believe it might be happening. You know, there's a lot of things that you know, they have so many things that they're working on because they have a large team. So they have so many things that they're working on in different stages. and I believe that is one of the things that will be coming out in the future. It's just a matter of how it's going to be implemented and when it's going to be implemented.
So how would your Royal Rumble mode work exactly?
Well, you would be facing off and against your opponents, and then hypothetically, in my mode, when you finish your opponent, you get you get some health back, so that you can keep going, and you just keep going and going and going and going, and then hopefully the reward system for the Royal Rumble will give you like different tiers of rewards based on how many people you actually eliminate from the Rumble.
So basically it'll be kind of like a gauntlet blitz, but in one match.
Yes.
Okay. That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. So
is there any other upcoming things that that you got introduced to at the time?
Not
Any
really.
exclusive things you can drop for us?
Well, there was mostly discussion. There was mostly going over bugs in the game, issues that we had in the game. They do want to do something with polls to make it so that people aren't so sour when they do not get anything. I do not know exactly what they're going to be doing, but they are going to be doing something about it to make it at least a little bit better when you get the sting, so that the burn isn't so bad.
yeah, Gerson had mentioned having kind of like mercy pulls where the odds are increased proportionally to how many times you failed. That seems pretty reasonable.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, I like that idea.
So
yeah, there's definitely a lot of room to grow there.
yeah. So getting into the other set of meat and bones, I guess we can call this the dessert. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
I have done a YouTube channel in the past. I am a huge movie buff, and I had a whole YouTube channel where I would do movie reviews, TV shows that I was into. I would do episode reviews, and I got into nothing too fancy. I mean, I would do my editing in iMovie and whatnot, and some of them, were like, I do like top 10 Game of Thrones deaths. I would do an episode review of this and that. So I was into YouTube, and I remember when my buddy Punisher, who he's been with me every step of the way, big inspiration and great guy. He was just like, one day he was like, hey, you should start a YouTube channel. And I've done it before, and I'm not really embarrassed, so I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. And then he showed me Gerson's channel, and I started watching Gerson's videos, and I was like, wow, besides the fact that I wanted Powerhouse Brock, I was like, wow, he knows what he's doing. He's doing a good job. And I messaged Gerson, and Gerson was nice enough to share information that he did not have to share. He did not have to help set me up, but he gave me the information. He gave me the software that I need to set up. When I had questions, he would answer them. He was an awesome guy helping me start this up. Because when you're in the beginning with this, you have no idea what you're going to do. You have no idea whatsoever. You're just learning everything from scratch, and to have somebody there to help guide you in a way is amazing. So I'm very grateful for Punisher, and also very grateful for Gerson's help as well.
Yeah, he was very helpful to me too as well, setting up our faction YouTube. Like you said, he did not have to give us all of the information at all. It made it so much more easier.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. So going back to this other YouTube channel you have, is it still active or just dead and gone?
It's still up. I haven't produced any content for it in, I don't know, maybe 2 years. But it is still up, and I was thinking about doing both, but you know what? I spend so much time streaming and doing videos that there's really no time to go in and do the other things. I had to learn, like, in my videos, I did, like, for example, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the movie Divergent. Did you ever hear of
Yeah.
Divergent?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a movie review on that, and what I ended up doing was I learned from this forum how to get copyright video in your YouTube channel without it being flagged. All you have to do is magnify the video so it stretches out a little bit so that the scanners do not pick it up. So I was able to, what I did was I rented the movie on Amazon, and I was going through and using QuickTime. You can do screen recording, and you can capture the video and audio with QuickTime. And I was able to do that. And while I'm talking, I was able to interject clips in there to make the video more exciting. So I learned how to do that, and that was a lot of fun. So that was like my YouTube beginnings, and this was just another beast.
It's pretty dope, man. Pretty dope.
It's pretty awesome. But what's been your biggest challenge, I guess, in growing and maintaining the channel? It doesn't become as popular as it has by accident.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of work involved, and there's a lot of unknowns. You know, you say to yourself, I could be producing this video and no one could watch, or I could be doing a stream and I could run out of things to say, or anything possible. I mean, I think it's just at first starting it up. I think just like, you know, one of the all-time great quotes, if you build it, they will come. You know, that's basically what happened. You know, I'm not, you know, this is not a Call of Duty game, or this isn't League of Legends or whatever those games are. So you don't have a gigantic audience. You have a audience, but the challenge is getting people, because there is a limited, you know, this is a niche game. So it is a little bit more challenging to get followers compared to other platforms, but it's definitely a journey.
Well, on the flip side of that, for people that are looking for content, they don't have as many places to go, at least, especially the time that you started up.
Yeah, there was just Gerson and oh boy, External Void. I think those were the only two that I saw when I was starting up.
Does External
Pretty
Void
awesome.
even still play? I've heard his name before, but I have never seen any of his videos.
I'm not sure. I haven't really seen anything lately.
Okay. Which of your content would you say is the most popular?
Well, people love watching pull videos.
Yes.
They absolutely love pull videos. You know,
Yeah.
I guess people can live through your pull and excitement, you know, that casino time for 3 minutes or whatever it may be, or they get to laugh at your misery or celebrate with you. Doing the live polls was probably one of my favorite things I've done in my career as a YouTuber, doing those live polls for Bobby Roode when he first came out.
Awesome.
But I had to constantly, you know, I put money on the account, you know, just in case. Like I overspent because I didn't know how many polls it was going to take for me to get him, and I didn't want to keep, you know, shutting off the emulator, putting the emulator back on, going and buying on my phone, and I didn't want to do that. So, you know, I was like, oh, let me just put extra, and then I just used the extra money that I had on TP anyway. So
Yeah, I remember that one. That was the night you made me famous by leveling Root up and kicking my ass in verses for everyone to see.
I remember that.
I was watching that going, dude, Seth, you did the wrong move first.
That's funny.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I still remember, that was one of my all-time favorite. Actually, between you and Gerson, that Bobby Roode release was the best, because you had that live pull and leveling him up to gold like right away for everyone to see, and Gerson fell out of his chair. Like those are
that was
like
the
best
same
release
night.
ever. Yeah, it was the same night.
That was the same. It was right after he fell out of the chair. And that was his last pull. That was right after I did mine. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got him. I'm glad he got him, because I know his luck is very shaky at times.
I think Rude started his next streak of bad luck. So after that, he went dry for quite a while. But yeah, so pull videos are fun. What have you learned about some of these gameplay videos that you've been doing a lot lately?
The gameplay videos are something that I wish when I was starting out in the game that were available. And it was just something that I saw that weren't really out there. You know, there were people doing sessions of playing the different tours with the characters, but I wanted to know, you know, strategy. And what was great was that once I finished my roster off, I was like, oh, I have nobody else to do. And then I remember I forgot who gave me the idea. They were like, why don't you just start asking around, asking people for their own videos? And we used Line app, and that's actually a step that I'm taking towards now, is taking more user submitted videos and putting them on the channel, whether it's gameplay videos or I don't know, a versus match that's really exciting, whatever it may be. You know, just pouring more content out there into the WWE Champions stratosphere. But doing these gameplay videos are really great, and the guys have been really helpful at Grim Creepers, giving me the footage. And there are some guys that I was just completely shocked. I'm like, why would you take Bray Trickster 3-star gold? You know, I don't see the benefit of it. And then you watch the video and you're like, wow, he actually packs a punch, you know? So
Right.
It's really, what's important is it's good to know. And I do the good and the bad also. No, I'm not going to do Mark Henry, but I do the good and the bad because people have these characters. I know not everybody, you know, spends on the pulls and is able to get a Macho Man, but they might have like a technician, Kevin Owens, and they might say, oh, how is this guy? And then they might say, oh, you know what? I'm better off working on Dean Ambrose or, you know, someone else, or Booker T, whatever that may be. But it's all about using your TP and your coins properly for the best possible roster. And I think that these gameplay videos really help make insightful decisions.
Yeah, and we're just having a chat here in the podcast chat channel about Nat being kind of the reason with the 3-star gold Miz. And but I remember before it was popular to take Miz to 3 stars, right? That it was like, it's a free to play character, he sucks. But it is really interesting when you get to see these characters at a higher level. Like the one that I was really looking forward to was the John Cena 3-star gold, because I have him at silver from back when, like, Money in the Bank or whatever, when he was
the Undertaker
during that
urn
Blitz
thing.
Yeah, he was one of the prizes from the Money in the Bank Blitz, and I managed to pull him from that. And I was like, oh, this is great. At the time, he was like my best showboat. And I never took him beyond silver because I just had a feeling he wouldn't be that good at gold. And watching your video, I'm like, good, I didn't do it. But yeah, that's really awesome. But I have to mention, a lot of your character gameplay video, it's always like, hi guys, this is a video from my good buddy Punisher. And then you told me Punisher got you to make the YouTube channel. So my question is, if he's giving you gameplay and he made you start the channel, how come he doesn't have a channel? Just saying.
I don't know. He's a talented guy. He's a pretty busy guy, you know. So if he wants to make a channel, then definitely, you know, the more the merrier. You know, there's every YouTuber that comes out has their own personality, and it's satisfying when you're putting out content, when you're interacting with people. So if he wants to join, then hell, you know, have the Punisher WWE Champions channel come out.
That would be awesome. Be awesome. So what is next for your channel? What are some of the things you're working on?
Well, I'm trying to pick up the streaming to more of a steady schedule. You know, sometimes I like to just go on when I feel like it. You know, I'm always doing the faction feuds, so that's like my thing. My thing is like the 7-hour streams. I'm running gauntlet blitzes when I can. Probably not this time because my Undertaker ABA is 2-star gold level 1. So yeah, Lanky Mac gave me the idea of the farmathons. I'm reading the chat right now.
Nice.
The farmathons are great because at first I'm saying to myself, why am I going to do a video of me just farming TP with $1 Million Man over and over and over and over again, and then switch to Vader when he goes down, or UF Seth? But what's really interesting is that the people come on no matter what, and they like to chat. They like to talk about wrestling or real life or whatever it may be. But also you're encouraging people to do the same thing, which is very important in the game, to farm for TP and coins, because it's an expensive part of the game, and you always should be upgrading your roster. So it's super critical. And he was the one that got me into being a hardcore farmer. I know Canation, she's an amazing farmer. I don't even know what her level is. I think it's like breaking the game. That's how high her level is. Yeah, that's crazy.
She's 256.
That's
Good
crazy.
Lord.
Yeah. She's definitely one of the most impressive people in the game by far, without a doubt. If there was a Hall of Fame, she would be in there. But Lanky Mac got me into grinding. He's a hardcore grinder, and I'm wondering, why some of these people, I was the guy who was like, I got Jericho list, time to upgrade him. Oh, I don't have coins, rush bundle. Oh, I don't have TP, rush bundle. I don't have this. Oh, I'm bored, rush bundle.
Yeah, rush bundles are not a good use of money.
Yeah, but that was it. I was just going crazy that way.
Yeah.
So
That's funny. Now, I have a question for you. So you took $1 Million Man to 3-star gold. He's a guy that I've wanted for a long time, never been able to get him. But now what we know with the VIP and getting all those extra loot boxes, if you could go back, would you change your choice?
Never.
Really?
He's one of my, yeah. I also have IRS gold because Money Incorporated is one of my favorite tag teams of all time. And again, there's the sense, sometimes you make choices like IRS is not a great trickster. He's decent. He's fun to play with, but he's not a great trickster. But, the sentimental value to me, I want to make him gold. I want to make Money Incorporated gold. That was my first, I didn't realize how good of a farmer he was until I got him to silver. With VIP now, we don't know what level we're going to be started at. As you go up in the levels, you get more loot boxes in the bonus. So it's not going to be just like the video where you're going to get 9 or 10 extra loot boxes off the bat. I know that they are giving everyone a bonus. So everyone's going to start off at a certain level. So it's, even if you haven't spent a dime in this game and you're just doing VIP for the first time, you're still going to get a little advantage. But this is going to make it really interesting, especially if you have a guy like UF Seth with the Raw tag link on. This is Canation's brainchild. She likes to farm with UF Seth and Raw guy. Get tons of experience, and also not use any health packs or anything.
Yeah, you can use the choose move to drop the loot boxes together where possible and that sort of thing.
And then you add VIP on top of that, and you're going to be able to endlessly farm, like mindless farming for hours and hours and hours. And that's going to equate to so much money. So when people complain about it being $3 a week, I think it's absolutely ridiculous, especially if you're investing so much time and energy into a game. What I don't get are the people that come onto my streams and complain. Like, you're on a stream about a game and you're complaining. Like, why would you waste your time? Do something else. You like PlayStation so much or Xbox so much, go play that. But no, they're addicted to the game, and it's so worth it. It's gonna be amazing, and it is coming out. I will say, by the time most people are going to listen to this, it'll already be out. But for the people that are watching on Wednesday, March 28th, it's going to be out probably within the next 48 hours.
Oh, boy.
Sweet. I can't wait for that. Yeah, I think that's something that people lose sight of when we're talking about, money or game cash or whatever. If you farm a lot, like, I think the VIP would pay for itself if you can get extra loot boxes. You'll farm like half the time.
And the amount of coins you're going to get also.
Yeah, Right, or you get twice the XP and or not the XP, but the TP and coins and all that stuff. So that's a big plus. And I also never understood the people that go spend hours and hours and hours doing like the Tapjoy missions that half the time don't pay off. Whereas maybe you do a little eBay side hustle, earn some money that way, and spend it in the game. So it's like time is money, and it's easy to lose sight of that.
Absolutely.
Vengeful, you had made a suggestion like for people who own IRS $1 Million Man and then they get the VIP, instead of having 3 loot boxes at the end of the match, maybe they get 4 or 5. I think that's a pretty good suggestion.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, because I don't have as much of a sentimental connection to Money Incorporated. I love them, but I could do with or without having a gold of those characters. But if having $1 Million Man let you go into like a 4th or 5th tier of loot box rewards, so instead of the the 13, maybe it's 3, 6, 13, 20, 28 or something like that, and then if you get $1 Million Man, you have a better chance of getting all 28, and you get 4th and 5th loot box. That might make it more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. We did bring up in the meeting, one of the, I forget who brought it up, but someone was talking about adding more loot box possibilities, rewards in the game, and that was shot down immediately. So,
oh wow.
So I guess that's not happening.
No.
That's funny. So what idea do you have for the game that other people haven't come up with?
I think it was the Royal Rumble. It was just something that I was passionate about. And I remember when I was playing Supercard, I was a Supercard player for maybe a week and a half. And what kept me going was the Royal Rumble feature. I thought it was interesting. But I was like, why doesn't this game have Royal Rumble? So that was something that
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I think, is there anything else that you would want to share that we didn't think to ask you?
No, I think that we covered the trip, my journey as a YouTuber, and what I like, in wrestling. So I think we covered most of it.
Cool. Any final thoughts, Venge?
I think that's about it. This has been fun, man. We'll have to do this again.
Same here. I had a good time.
Well, this has been the dWo podcast.
2vement podcast.
Debatable. Thank you so much, Lil C, for coming out, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, before we go, for those who are just like new to the game and don't know you, how can they find you on YouTube?
They can go and type in for WWE champions, and they should be able to find me alongside Gerson and Big Papa Brian. They should be able to find me, Mark Rangley. And once you go on any of my videos, you can actually see all of my social media links. Or if people want to message me directly, they can message me online, Lilc24.
This Lilc24?
Yes.
Okay. That's it, man. Lil C from Creep Squad. It has been awesome. See you guys later.
Peace.